I wanted to shoot you this really quick recap video to talk about everything that we covered in the session. We really talked about the topic of hard work equals better luck. And as we talked through the session, we discussed what exactly is luck and how does luck actually show up in our daily activities of the things that you and I do. We discussed things like the first try and first attempt at things of maybe it was a sport, maybe it was a musical instrument, maybe it was a new skill, or maybe it was even a new language that you were learning. And in the beginning, because of that, it could have been very difficult and it could create some very difficult learnings for us. And sometimes there's things that we quit doing, right? We're just decided that we're not going to do it anymore. It's too hard. However, some of us stick with them and we become a master at those things. When I look at whether it's a sport, a musical instrument, a new skill of any kind, and or any new languages, I can become a master at it as long as I'm super committed to it. We talked about the difference between being committed and being interested. And we talked about how society as a whole has a challenge with the word commitment. And it's because commitment does take energy, effort, and quite frankly, it takes a very strong mindset to be very committed to something, because in many cases, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So when I'm looking at the scripting as it relates to the 9 steps of a world-class phone experience, I may find from time to time that I trip up, I get a word wrong, I slip up, I don't, and that goes back to what causes us to perfect our craft. It goes back to practice. And it's not just practice once again, over and over and over. It's that perfect practice over and over and over again, creating consistency in our delivery of who we are and what we do. As a part of that, we talked about a great deal about how preparation plays a large part in making sure that you and I can get better luck. We found that if we spend a lot of time in the preparation phase, then we find that it, quote, luck seems to happen more often. In other words, hard work pays off. Then we really drilled down into the process component and in processes, how processes really matter. And then we discussed how in many of our roles, 70 to 80% of what we do every day is the same thing, repeat over and over and over again. And because of that, if we're not committed, it can cause us to lose interest because it's the same thing over and over and over again. So you've got to find new ways to elevate yourself, to keep yourself interested in what's going on, and more importantly, challenging yourself to elevate your results. And it goes back to something we talk often about. You can't get mad about the results you get from the hard work that you're not willing to do. Now, when we looked at things that an office champion should be focused on as it relates to skilling themselves up, is things around like, what about the script? What about industry terms? Especially if you're not from the industry, you've not been from the industry. Really having a good conscious attitude, being focused on where I'm at in my mindset as I am trying to help clients that are struggling with issues in their home. Having a smile on my face, and more importantly, in my voice, and having that servant's attitude. You got to have short-term memory loss as well, because without short-term memory loss, the call that I just took that had me upset and frustrated, now all of a sudden I'm carrying that over into the next call and I'm taking it out on the next customer. So I've got to have short-term memory loss. I've got to learn how to reset at the next call. And then it goes back to committing and putting in the hard work. And that's what gets us the results that we get. And there's no such thing as overnight success. You and I have to understand that getting better and skilling up is a process, and that process does take time. Consistent, 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 and that's going to lead to me skilling myself up, and then ultimately realizing that there are no more excuses. I just simply have to stop making excuses about myself, my results, and where I'm at today. And I need to start looking myself in the face and start being honest with myself about where I'm at, and the decisions that I've made have led me to where I'm at today. And we really, really hammered in, why are you here today is not important. What is it, the lesson that you're hoping to learn today? What lesson did you take away from today? So that, my friend, is a recap version of today's Office Champions Academy. Look forward to seeing you guys again. Take care.